Welcome back to the hottest marriage show in the world. It's I, John D. and
Kanika,
a.k.a.
Drylands.
Too Much Podcast. Rescripting the lips. One lip at a time.
Uncrusting the lips.
Yeah, one lip at a time. Good morning, my love.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for asking. How was your past week?
It was pretty good. I had a great time this past week.
What was so great about it?
So this past week, it was a short week, number one. Coming up on a holiday weekend, it really felt good. But I went to, we traveled to Atlanta, our daughter and I, with my mom. And we were able to spend the weekend. There were two purposes. So my mom, we've lived away from her for like the last 15, almost 20 years. All of us have been somewhere away from her. So very seldom does she get all three of us in the same room. And so this weekend was the first time we had all been in the same room with her since 2001. And I mean, it was a great time.
That's awesome to hear.
For the most part. The other thing is our daughter she's coming into her senior year soon, and I'm thinking about senior pictures. So I was like, hey, I've been trying to get down to Little 5 Points. For those who don't know, in Atlanta, there's a area called Little 5 Points. It's full of shops and, a lot of not run-of-the-mill clothing or, styles and jewelry and all that other stuff. It's really...
non-mainstream.
Yeah. And I remember when we were growing our family, and Day was so small, but I knew immediately the way she dressed, I was like, she's gonna be one of these kids hanging out here. But we moved away, and truthfully, she's not one of those kids. Like, I took her down there, and I had kept saying, Day, she doesn't like to shop in the malls because it's like everybody wears those clothes, and she wants to be different. And so I was like, this is where we're going to go, and it's going to be great. Well, we get down there, and it kind of fell flat. Even that is not who she is. And I'm laughing with my mom, and I'm like, I don't know. Like we told her, we're just going to stand back, and she could browse. And if she wants to ask us anything or talk to us, then we'll listen. But we know that our style is not her style. But she kind of walked around, and it was like, no, this ain't me either. Except for some boots. She found some bad boots. But other than that, it kind of fell flat. But it was nice to have her. It was just me, her, my mom, and then the conversation and her. There were a lot of things I learned.
Outside of thinking you understand her style, what else did you learn?
I learned that I speak for her a lot. So John called it out to me before that sometimes he'll talk to Dallas, and then Dallas will look at me. And we may go out to eat. My mom has said this before. If the waiter is talking to Dallas, then Dallas will look at me. And then I start to speak for everybody because I know what everybody wants and I know what everybody means and da-da-da-da. But I didn't realize I was doing that. When I was younger, my mom said I used to do that for my younger brother, Kyle. Kyle didn't talk for a longer period of time because whenever people would ask what he wanted or what I would answer for him. And my mom told me I need to stop doing that. Well, now I'm doing it with them. So we were sitting there, and my brother is asking Day, at dinner, what do you like to do? And she just went like this. And I said, well, and then at the second question he asked, I stopped. I don't know what made me stop, but later on he was like, yeah, I just want to hear what Day has to say. And she was like, then she starts talking, and then it's fine. But if they look at me, it's my cue, and then I do whatever is needed.
So this is the father's role. Like, I remember I was thinking, like, there were times when I was little like that. They talking to you. You gonna say something? And then, like, so this is what I want you to understand. Because, like, when you were saying that, it made me reflect on, like, why did I learn how to talk? I didn't like feeling like that anymore. The way that he spoke to me. Mm-hmm. I learned that I need to say something.
Before he holler at you?
Yeah. So I was just thinking, like, as far as that was an effective method. because I was able to advocate for myself and learn that I had to pay attention to other people's responses so I don't say something stupid.
Mm.
Their fear is that they can't say what you say because every time you say it, it's so eloquently spoken. So they're thinking, there's no way I can say that. So I'm going to just look at you. So they have no practice. You know what I'm saying? So, and I just learned all of that just listening to you when I told you before. But I understand that, like, it brings me to, I sent you a message. It was this woman talking about how the woman is supposed to love, nurture, and all of that. But the man, it sets a different standard. And now I kind of understand what my role is for them. I'm just afraid that I don't want to create any, the trauma. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't ever want to give your kids trauma, and I already know they're going to have it, but I want to like reduce it. And I think it's kind of taken away some of the things that my father may have passed on to me, because I'm like, that couldn't have worked, but something worked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So with you, you got to let them cross the street.
Yeah. And I've let them. I have encouraged them to order their own food at the restaurants. And I do want them to speak up.
They're almost grown.
They are. Well, and they, like, literally in the last year or so, like, they would just look at me and then I would order their food. I didn't realize that. And, you know, one of my downfalls is I am a mother that always wants my kids to feel covered. And sometimes I have not figured out how to taper that off according to their age. How I treat them now is how I've treated them from the very beginning. And either when they were little, like we would go to McDonald's to go to the little playground or whatever, and I would make them order their chicken nugget Happy Meal or whatever. Okay, well, tell them what you want. Because I learned you want kids to be able to speak up for themselves. They'll feel more natural in doing it. And but I think that that's the only place where I did that. And somewhere along the line, and I hate saying it, but I really, really believe it's where it was. During the pandemic, we didn't engage with a lot of people. So when we went back outside, my kids didn't talk to anybody. I did everything. So anything that they had learned to do or speak up, and they were like really lively kids or whatever, all of that kind of just damn. And instead of me saying, okay, we got to get back on the bike, right? I just stuck the training wheels back on and I started doing everything again. So
I mean, that had a lot to do with me being gone. And also it made it easier for you because you were responsible for everything.
Yeah. And the other thing is, yes, you don't want to cause trauma to the kids. And I know you don't want to do exactly the way that your dad did. But trust, I would hear about it. He may not say it directly to the kids, but we would, when we're alone, then he's like, you did this and you did that and you shouldn't be doing this. Now that doesn't help me. Bringing me trauma. No, that didn't help me because in the moment, it doesn't stop me. I do. And then when I get back into the practice again, I'm not thinking nothing about what he said. So it didn't really help me either. Yeah, it was there were a lot of gaps right there that I just didn't see the long-term impact it was going to have.
So I think the benefits of our relationship now is that we can kind of curb a lot of the practices through conversation. Just think, like, we've been working on this, and it's just one of those things where we can only practice when it's happening.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But at least we're aware that we're a lot more aware than what it was. And you are more understanding of what I was trying to say. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So now going forward, I think that if anybody addresses something, we should consider, like, what does this look like 10 years from now? Is this practice going to help them, hinder them? And we just come up from there. So, yeah, I think that was definitely a good experience. And
yeah, it was. And I mean, you learn something new every day. So
it's always good to be about your kids.
Yeah. Yeah. And and I guess I needed to learn that, and hearing it from Kyle, because Kyle he doesn't usually, what is a word I want? Kind of redirect me. Usually it's just like, oh, whatever Nika says.
Address his concerns.
He's like, yeah, he's like really cool. But in this moment, he was like, I really want to hear it from Day. And I was like, oh, yeah. You know, of course Day can talk. She got a whole mouthpiece. Go ahead, Day. But Day was kind of looking like, okay, this.
Because if I was there and you weren't there and she would have looked at me, I'm like, speak up. He's interested about you.
Yeah. And that does sound more like you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah. So I learned a lesson.
It's so crazy how we would approach it differently and not understand, like, you know how like I want to be able, like when you were gone and I had the fellas, I wanted it to be something where they would like, oh, it's the fellas like next time. And I don't know how to make it look like that without using money for Darius. And with Dallas, it's like, he's just got to be in the mood because you're like his lifeline to me. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I used to be jealous of it, but now I'm just happy that he has it because, but I just hope that I can get to some point where he was like, it'll get to that, you know, because that's, I guess, as a father, you would want, you know, remember those days when they used to go out of town. Yeah, that's too late now. So it's like, hopefully, you know, when he has kids, I'm like, wouldn't it? Like, I remember this is what I used to think. So we're going to have to create those moments.
Yeah.
You know, cause he's going to look back and be able to look and be like, hey, you did try. It's just.
You tried, sir.
Yeah. But like with you, that's what I'm saying. Like when we're away from each other, we have to be more of a balance and, you know, to be able to compliment our kids when they need it the most.
I agree. Yeah, I'm gonna have to channel just a little bit of you when I'm going somewhere else. That's true.
Yeah, vice versa. Also, you know, sometimes it's really difficult to create a relationship that you feel like you should already have.
Yeah. Well, you know, and that's one of the things about like what you feel with Dallas. I feel that way with Day. I feel like there's a lot of her that I don't. Like, she's very open and she wants to spend time and stuff, but to understand what do you want to talk about? Like, what makes her light up to talk? I know what makes her light up, but I don't know anything about anime. And she loves, like, that's her, Dallas's thing is history. You can talk to you about anything that has to do with history. They can talk to you about the characters in the show she likes and the aspects of their personality she likes and all this. And I'm like, okay.
Can I give you this?
Please.
So you taught me this, as crazy as it sounded, you weren't even practicing it with her. He was like, hey, you're just going to have to start liking some of the things he liked. I started looking at ants.
Oh, I remember that.
I started to like try to figure out what I could do to be in his wheelhouse. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when you say, you know, I don't do anything with anime or whatnot. I don't either, but I have things that she knows she and I can talk about. But I also notice that maybe you treat her like your mother treated you.
How so?
Like, because Dallas makes it easy for you because he comes around. Day she'll stay in her own closet. You know what I'm saying?
That's much like me.
That's what I'm saying. So she doesn't come looking for it. You're doing what your mother did. Like, she's safe. I'm good.
Yeah.
So you have to, like, Dallas made it too easy for you.
That, you know what? I've never thought about that, but that my mom used to say, you would just hold up in your room, reading and doing your own thing. Yeah. And that's kind of like where, and yeah, I probably feel like Day's good. So I don't, yeah.
And so like, when I say like things that we can talk about, art is one of them. And where I am now in art is really because of you two, because you did that for her birthday or whatnot. But now she's watching me and she asks more questions and we have conversations. So it's like, she don't know that interests me enough for us to have that. But the anime thing, I tried it. And I just feel like I can't watch something else like without you because anime is not going to do anything for me. It doesn't, I don't look for that fix. So now YouTube and, you know, it's more questions dealing with that. So it's like, it kind of just worked out, but the art thing, like I went to go do it so that we could have something to talk about. So I don't know what it would be for you, because she makes it very difficult, because you are a music person and she's more of a pop music person, so she doesn't care about music the way that you care about it. So y'all don't have those conversations.
But she said to me, can you put some music on my playlist that are like what you listened to as a kid?
So it looks like she's trying to create the relationship with you.
Let's be clear. Yes, she has, actually. Even though she chills out in her room by herself, when she comes out, she really does. Like, I guess she does that too. She's like, okay, these are some things that I could tell that she likes. I like music. Well, why don't you show me some of the music you like?
I think because of Dallas. Dallas made it so easy.
Yeah.
Like, so
Oh.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
That makes me emotional.
well, it's a good thing though.
Yeah. Oh, that makes me sad though. My little baby boo has been looking out. She's been trying to connect with me and I didn't even. To me, it's like, oh yeah, I get to, that's nothing. But I didn't think about the meaning behind it, how,
But see, this is like, if you think about it though, like you only know what you know.
Yeah.
So think about this. How many mother-daughter things that you and your mother have that you've done for Day? So to me, I feel like in your head, like you've done more than what your mother's done. But I don't even know if you feel like y'all could have been closer as a child.
With me and my mom?
Yeah.
I loved my mom.
No, I know, I get it, but I'm saying the way that you talk, you make it seem like she couldn't have done anything better.
Yeah, because I don't think, for who I was, I don't think she had to. Because I was a very clingy kid. Like, I was probably like Dallas to her. Like, he's not clingy, but if my mom was there, I didn't mind being there. Even if I was in the room with her, she didn't have to talk to me. I didn't have to talk to her. I would be in the room. She used to watch Young and the Restless. Still does. We would watch Young and the Restless, and I'd be like, what is Victor doing? Like, Nikki get on my nerves. You know what I'm saying? Feeble-minded little Amina. All that stuff. I would sit there. You had to be quiet, though. My girl would record Young and the Restless. Don't say nothing while Young and the Restless is on. But I would sit with her, and I would watch that. I would find my mom. My mom was busy being a mom and holding way more together than she was supposed to. And so, yeah, I found her.
So this is what I'm saying. Like, she was supposed to find you.
Right.
So the way that you defend it, it's almost like, this is what I'm saying. As far as Day, that's the reason why there's a disconnect. I think that with her finding you, she shouldn't be.
Well, but that's the thing, is for you to say she was supposed to find me. I don't think that was the practice of any of my family growing up.
Absolutely. But
like, kids were kidding.
No.
Parents were parenting.
That's what like, parenting looks different now.
It does.
But my point is that the practice can't continue.
No, I understand. Yeah. And from where we are now, like, I'm going to say, like, when I grew up, there were people who will argue with their mom or be like, I was not like that about my mom. I love that chick. There wasn't anything she can do wrong. And we did have things that we would do together that I didn't realize it was me seeking out to be with her. But yeah, now I'm realizing it is. But yes, looking at it now, like, I don't think for the personality my mom didn't have to come look for me because I was always trying to find her. But I also was very social and I had my own being. And so did she. And so it never felt like that. And now she's looking for me and she's like, this is how it goes. Because my grandmother used to do the same thing. My mom, she said, you are literally actively raising your family right now. Y'all got a million things going on. So it's her job to come and find me. And whenever she comes, I clean the house. If she's coming, I have to like rip through the house real quick just to make sure, because I know who my mom is and what my mom needs to see. And she was like, I don't know why you do that. She said when Molly, that's what she called my grandmother, when she used to come over, she said it'll be a pile of laundry on the couch. She just sit up and start folding the laundry and talking to me. my mother would come.
What's wrong?
And so my mom said my grandmother will come and my grandmother will come and be an extension of my mom as a parent. Like she would, my mom was like, I said, you didn't go around and like straighten up the house before Granny came. And she was like, no. She said if she came over and there was laundry, she would start folding the laundry and talk to me while I'm doing whatever I'm doing. If I'm cooking, she'd clean the dish. Like Granny just came in and fell in line and was an extension of her. And I don't let my mom do that. When she comes in, I want her to sit down and relax, and I want everything to be cleaned up and, and I don't know why I'm like that. But anyway, I mean, I'm just now realizing and saying it. That's why I'm probably crying. But I'm realizing that she wants to do those things for me. And I won't let her. But I feel like because you've already done so much, Mommy, you're so great. You do your thing. I'll manage it on my own. But it was like on the drive up from Atlanta, she said, I didn't clean up anything. She saw wherever I was in life at that time, making sure, y'all were doing what you need to do. Wherever I was, she just came in and she fell in line. And I don't allow for that. But if I were going to Dad's house, I wouldn't want Dad to stress about me coming either. I come and I want to be a father, trying to be an extension.
Dad's not.
She's not.
No, she's not going to fight you at all.
She's not going to fight me. But
her room is filthy.
Oh my God.
Like I said, I told her, hey,
don't do my baby like that.
It's filthy. I said, look. No, I was like,
she's like,
I was like, there's no way you should have left this stay in your room look like this. And then she came back like it looked like it was clean. So I'm like, girl, don't clean this room up.
I was like that. I was a very messy kid. And then I would get bursts of energy where I would clean everything. And then I'm the type of person where I would clean and I'd be like, I'm cleaning this room. And then I'll hang something up in the closet. And I'll be like, oh, this closet is so dirty. And then I'll pull everything out of the closet. I'll reorganize the closet. Now the closet looks crazy. The room looks crazy. And it would take me a whole day and a half maybe to clean up my room. Something that my mom is like, it shouldn't have taken that long. Just put the stuff up, I make big productions of things in the moment, but I will let things build up in that. I know that day has that. I went down to Dallas's room. His bed was all made and everything was cleared out. And I was like, it looked like Kari's room. But I used to go in my older brother's room. It looked like you weren't supposed to touch stuff because it had a place and it was neat. And you go in my room and I was like, a mess. Is that brother-sister stuff? Because you said your parents were the same way. They're like, wait a minute.
I think that we were parented differently. Like, I think your father established some type of protocol about a room that he didn't establish with you.
My dad didn't parent at all. Kari was just naturally clean.
There's no such thing. No, it isn't. Listen, check
this
out.
Whatever we established with Dallas.
Whatever you want to remember, it's okay. But I'm telling you this, no kid goes over and beyond without being told what it's supposed to look like.
Well, and that's the thing. I don't doubt.
I'm saying it's a boundary thing with the kids.
I don't doubt that Kari was following instruction. I just didn't follow instruction very well, but he did.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's a different tone.
My only correction to what you said was it wasn't my dad who did it.
So how would you know that though? Why would you know that?
Because my
y'all
dad
5 years
messy.
apart. No, I'm saying you're 5 years. No,
yeah, but my dad didn't actively parent. My dad didn't know how to actively parent.
No, I'm saying that if he's 5 years older than you,
right? He
learned how to clean a bedroom before you were born.
Heck yeah, because Birdie was real. But I'm just gonna say. So, but and I'm gonna leave that at that. But
I was just saying, as far as there are certain things that men do, regardless you say your father did it or didn't. I know that there are certain things that men do across the board that there is like a specific expectation and it's a tone that's different. Like that's why I told you when Day was little, I'm gonna treat her like a boy because I didn't want I didn't want any favoritism. I want her to get whatever she's supposed to get so that she could be qualified just like a boy. So, like I just remember looking back the messages my friends, you say, why do you talk like that to your kids? I'm like, it's so that they know, like they understand the urgency of it all.
But what does it mean to be qualified like a boy? Just for clarification.
Because men typically treat their daughters softer. Like they hold them delicately. Like
I get that because people be like, "Oh, she's gonna have to be wrapped around your finger." And you're like, "No, she ain't." Well, but when you said, "But I want her to be qualified like a boy,"
like I want her to be able to have eyes like a boy. Like she can recognize something. If I if I treat her like this, she's gonna think other men is gonna treat her like this. Like. To me, I wanted her to like have this experience where she knows that this is capable. This is capable of happening. It's almost like if you don't know it can happen, you're going to be surprised and shocked. Like my father wouldn't have done that. And I didn't want Day to go out in the world to feel like men were supposed to take care of her. I wanted her to be able to recognize a type of tone, like when it should be taken seriously. Because to me, I feel like I'll give you an experience in Abu Dhabi when I was talking to the kids and y'all were playing and I was serious. My voice changed and nobody took me seriously. And I was hot. And I was like, nobody noticed my tone change, my body language. It was just I did a poor job with creating anything where people's like, oh shoot, father, he's serious. Nobody took it that way. Like, and I was hot because I shouldn't have gotten that way. Everybody should have known that, hey, he's like mad. And it was just like a big joke. And I was just like, I don't know what to do.
That was my fault because I played too much. But yeah, I know. I played too much and they were taking their cue from me.
Oh, I know they were. But I'm saying, like, as a man, there was a time where,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying as far as you said your brother Kari, like your mother didn't come out. Like, to me, I feel like it was a progressive, her learning to carry the weight of the family. She didn't start out like this. Like it, I don't know what it started like, but I know your father has a tone in him that everybody knows, like, he ain't playing right now.
But Birdie also had a face. And what I would draw to your attention, though, is have we ever had the conversation about, I can't quite think of how to say it, but okay, so my mom grew up, her older brother took care of their family, but her family was headed by her mom. Her dad was, her mom and dad had divorced when she was young. So my mom has only seen the household run by her mother. Now, my uncle is the type that, like, he moved them to Michigan and he always made sure his mom and his younger siblings were straight. But my grandmother ran the house. And so when I think back to, and then I was asked her mom, I wonder how she figured out how to do that because she grew up in a house where her father worked and her mother took care of everybody at home. So how did she learn how? That must have been a really hard learning curve to learn how to be a single mother managing these children. And then my mom comes in, and much like my grandmother, I think that that's the blueprint that she saw. So that's how she anticipated having to raise a family the way her mom did. My dad was an added factor. Like, yes, you're supposed to have a husband, but the only way she knew how to be a mother was to be the full package because that's all she's ever seen. So that's why I say my mom, like, I remember her trying to teach me how to clean up. I mean, I know how. It's just that I'll let things like go to, oh, I'll get that later. Oh, I'll get that later. And then later is later and later. But I think that's why I say it wasn't because my dad he was just wild and running the streets all the time. He didn't have any type of rearing for real from his parents. Like from the age of 10, he was in and out of, like, they would call it the boys' home. You weren't in foster care, but they sent you away to a boys' home, and then you would be able to come home eventually if you had your stuff together. If not, it kind of was like foster care. You weren't at home. My dad, when he came back from the boys' home, he was just like in the streets, and my grandmother didn't mind at all. Like she didn't want to deal with him. And so his rearing, my mom raised my dad in a lot of what my dad wouldn't have known how to do half of the things. Like he knew how to fix things up, but to live and to be able to manage himself, my mom taught him what is necessary. What are the things that you should want in life? Otherwise, my dad would have just been out here. And so essentially she was raising him and us. And she couldn't teach him to clean worth of nothing. But the rest of us, we fell in line. And so that's why I say, I understand there are certain things that you think men just, they do. My dad he raised himself. And you think about your wildest kid. Everybody has like that wild kid that they have. He was the wildest one. And he was the one that was like unleashed onto the world with no breaks. So when my aunt used to talk about him, she would say, you know, my dad would be 6 or 7 years old. He would run down the street all weekend. He would spend with her because she mothered him. But during the week when she had to work, she worked for GM. During the week, he couldn't be with her. But as soon as he knew she was off, he would go be with her. That's where he got any type of understanding of love and affection. Other than that, my dad was running the streets and having a good time, stealing, doing whatever. But it was because nobody was rearing him. He had no idea. But anyway, to get back around to what we were saying, it is my job to build my relationship with my daughter. I do not recognize that she's been doing it for me. And I'm going to be more active about that. And I'm also going to be better with my mom and let her come over when my house is dusty. Mm-hmm. And then I'll be like, hey, Mom, can you go mop the floor? Do you do what you supposed to do that? I don't even know. Will it make her feel like, finally?
You fooling.
I overtalked today. I'm sorry.
No, you didn't. I learned a lot about you. But anybody you want to give a shout out before we get out of here?
My mom, my brothers, my kids, my husband. Great job in y'all raising me.
Mm-hmm. We're raising each other together.
Yes, we are.
Collectively learning to become better so that they'll be far better parents than we are. Mm-hmm. You know, I think we'll have better answers for them so that they can just improve upon.
Agreed.
Y'all make today better than yesterday. Don't worry about anything you can't control. GATA. Get after that action or that action will get after you. Be great on purpose.